Hello, everyone. Once again, we are all welcome to FTGFX Lounge. And what we do is that we reach out to the best in the trading industry to share with us their experiences and their knowledge to help us also understand how the market works so that we don't keep complaining that the market is taking money from us and all of that. So today we have one of the best it goes by the name Frank Walbaum. But I call him Frank. I call him boss. I call him sir at some point. Why? Because he was a senior colleague at a brokerage, and then we moved on, but we are always in touch. He has helped me to. There's this thing I would like to tell him. He has helped me to write and present my weekly outlooks better than I used to. So he is fund manager. He is a coach. He's an entrepreneur. But going through his profile, I realized that he studied electrical and electronics engineering, physics, and economics. I also studied chemical engineering. So before we even delve more into the conversation, what's Frank? What is it about engineering and trading that most of the time I do see a lot of traders from the having engineering background and all? What is the connection?
It's actually 90% true. So, first of all, Da Costa, thanks a lot for having me around here. It's always fun to
Yeah.
have a conversation with you, listening to you, and interacting with you. I
Mm-hmm.
was actually engineer, kind of being, or I was an engineer in the television field. So, my customer or my company back in the days, German television, the main broadcaster. You guys know the ones in the UK, the BBC, and our ARG, German television channel. It's the public broadcaster in Germany. And I studied engineering, say, there, about in the engineering playing field and everything which we use now, right? Microphones, cameras. It was audio and video engineering from a ground up. And that's when I started also kind of getting interested in financial markets at that time.
Right. So is it about the numbers? Because I know engineering, you do a lot of numbers there. Financial markets, you do a lot of numbers. Is that what is linking the two? Or what is it about it? I really want to understand that bit. Do you
So
think he
back
has
in the
got?
day,
Yes.
yeah, back in the days, Acosta, I was learning the mechanical or electrical engineering, but with a fine art in the background, say basically, right? So
Okay.
I was learning how to use a microphone or a camera, and then I was able to kind of use that what we do in our jobs in order to kind of emphasize on the quality, make a picture nicer, using some
Okay.
lighting for some better lightings basically, and learning
Okay.
how lighting colors affected the end product, the picture or the sound. That's how I got to learn about that. And I see trading slightly different answer to your question. I see
Okay.
trading a bit of
Okay.
as an art because I was also the link between the engineering and the art
Mm-hmm.
of broadcasting audio or video. So I see trading
Okay.
as a bit of an art to master the markets and the art behind mastering markets.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds interesting because for me, I like numbers. I like to, play around numbers. Aside that, mine wasn't more of yours, but mine was I was looking for money. So I just jumped into trading just like that. But coming back to like how I got into trading, mine was I was looking for money, better opportunities and all. With yours, I know you have you're a fund manager, you are a coach, you are an entrepreneur. So when it comes to the trading space, you have it all. Tell us a bit about fund management. What makes you in the fund management space, and how can one land in on opportunities like that? Yes.
So when I quit my job back in the days, that was 2012, I left German television. I wasn't really happy with the company. I was happy with the company because they brought me to Singapore. They brought me to cover Southeast Asian countries. I was in Japan when in Fukushima the big earthquake happened. I was in
Okay.
Indonesia covering natural disasters, and we did lots of colorful stories in Australia, flying around gold mines and whatever copper
Oh.
mines. And I saw kind of really how trading from the pit, from the ground up, worked. And I was in Singapore, the home of many successful traders. Jim Rogers, I've interviewed him a few times in the past,
Okay.
being one of them. So that's how I moved into trading. Fund management. I learned basically when my neighbor back in the days in Singapore knocked on my door saying, Frank, we need you in our company. And I said, I'm like educated in television engineering. What does make me the right fit for you? And he says, you know about the markets, but we want somebody with your outside of the banking world experience. And that family office, it's a single family office. We managed several hundred million of euro for a wealthy German family. And they wanted me not from a banking industry, because the other 4 or 5 traders in that office in Germany and in Singapore, they were all from the banks, right? So they knew how banking works, how financial markets work. But I was like having a view on financial markets on a slightly different, from a slightly different angle. And that was the big story and my advantage, because coming with a fresh mindset, with a fresh eye to that family office. And that's how I then started trading not only my own money, which is what I did at that time, but also in investing the money of customers, or that big customers back in the days.
Wow. So does it also confirm the fact that anybody can learn how to trade? Based on what you
Since
just said.
everybody nowadays can learn how to produce podcasts and YouTube videos and whatnot, anybody also can learn how to trade. And that's exactly the importance. Most people, and the majority of people, they want to trade the FX market. They want to trade options. They want to trade whatever. And, like they like, okay, with $1,000, I can become rich overnight. And that's exactly the biggest myth in trading. If you study to become a lawyer, what's the first job you do? You're not defending the biggest guy in the world. You're not kind of defending the richest or the poorest or whatever people, but you learn. And the importance of emphasizing, that's what exactly brings you and me together, to learn your job first, to learn and fine-tune your skill sets. And that's important in trading in particular, because the issue that everyone with $1,000 think they can make 1,000 out of 1,000, 10,000 in the next week or month, doubling, tripling their accounts, essentially works. But quite often it works only once or twice. And then in the end, people really face big drawdowns, meaning big losses, and they lose more than they expected to lose. So get your knowledge right. Study the markets, and there are so many sources. Da Costa, you are one of the big, great sources where you can learn fundamentals, technicals, and then basically along the way, you learn how your mindset ticks when you basically face maybe two losing trades, how that affects your trading. And then by that, you should progress, learn more, use webinars, use podcasts like these and others in order to kind of get bigger and deeper knowledge. And I'm a big fan of like learning from others, take it, and then basically kind of making your own business, your own ideas, and building your own fund, like I do maybe around it.
Yeah. So that is very good, because I wanted us to get there at some point. But what you said is, people believe, and that is what is around. People believe that yes, with maybe $1,000, €1,000, you're going to flip that to maybe 10,000 in the next week. Fortunately, unfortunately, that is what is online. Like that is what is everywhere. You have been in the media space. You understand how the media can make something that is not real become real. What do you think is the problem? What do you think has caused this problem for people to believe that you can flip maybe $100 to $1,000 in the next day or two? Because what you are saying is the truth, which majority of traders might not. I don't know whether they know, but might not side with you. But they will go with a person maybe on Instagram with a Rolex, Lamborghini, that yes, you can flip 100 to 1,000. What do you think is the problem here?
My Lamborghinis are parked outside, and I don't own Rolexes, but some Patek Philippe's. Anyways, jokes aside, what I want to say is that when looking at social media, obviously everyone is the Bitcoin millionaire or billionaire. Everyone kind of who does something. And nowadays, we all have to sell ourselves. We are not like working girls in a way, but we are somehow as well in every day of our life. Especially nowadays, we have to sell ourselves to the outside world. And that's exactly the positivity, but the negative thing as well. When I'm talking to some friends, then they're like, hey, are you affected by the downturn in the markets? You are like, you are Frank. We know you. To be frank, you're Frank. You know what you're doing, right? So how's your life? I said, look, financial markets go up and they go down. And I have no idea what they do. Maybe Da Costa, you have better ideas on what they do. But what I really always think is like, risk appetite and like kind of playing with fine-tuned ideas, our own approach to financial markets and to what we expect as an outcome. Back to your question, the idea obviously kind of in general should be like, look at what's going in and outside or going on outside, but the idea is of falling for a trap of like, hey, like this guy with a rich car, or like he always does holidays here and there. Really look behind it and think, is that possible? And what I do is like when I'm trading financial markets, I'm looking at big banks. Who are the richest guys in the world? Who are the biggest and best fund managers? How much average return per year can they do? Do you think that you as an individual are smarter than any guy who runs the biggest hedge fund, like the biggest company who invests other people or their own money? And I think, no, we should not be. It's always too easy to believe like give the money to this guy, follow with copy trading. It works. Everything works, but you need to really carefully look into the fine print, the details, and then eventually you can progress from that moment on. But when my good friend and business partner in Singapore, Mario, he wrote a book and he said, Frank, I need somebody with some knowledge. Do you have somebody who can fill the last part of my book? I said, I could. And so Mario Singh and myself, we wrote a book some time ago where I was able to kind of alongside my old mentors to fit my name in as well, but not because I'm the best fund manager or the best guy here and there. I like to adapt other people's strategies. I like to deepen the knowledge by learning and doing the same over and over again. And Da Costa, the biggest problem in the past has been that those guys were like, those guys, oh, I can do that. I can double my account. I can, get rich overnight. I've never heard from them ever again. But for me, I've been in the industry for now many years, 12 over years, and I'm not the best. But also I'm not the worst, and I stopped losing money after a few years, and that's where you capitalize. Slow and steady progress.
Okay. Now, talking about losing money, first, before we even delve more into that bit, first tell us your biggest loss, your biggest win. Maybe you can, if you want to put numbers to it, that's fine. What do you think caused you to lose that amount of money? And what do you think also caused you to win that amount of money? And then how you were able to balance or switch from losing to winning? Yeah.
Yeah. So I have two opportunities and two trading setups which really crossed my mind. One of the biggest personal loss on my account was I traded two contracts when the oil market was falling. And that was with a brokerage company called Interactive Brokers. And that was during COVID, when the oil market went negative. The problem on their software was once prices turned negative, my account was basically leveled. My account was like kind of going down because I had four contracts, four long contracts. I bought oil, the futures contract worth a couple of hundred barrels, and the contract went essentially into very well negative territory. And all those four contracts, they kind of were killing my account back in the days. Why? I wasn't able to close the trades out because it was a hit in a problem in their software. It took them about 2-3 weeks to really refund all the traders who had bought who had gone long into long positions, and I was one of them. But for a couple of weeks I lost, for me personally, quite a big amount of money in this case, not for my customers, but for me. And that was one of the losses where I felt like, it was a mistake, but it was a mistake also technically on their side. Another losing trade, which was actually for me personally a winning trade. We were selling FX options, uncovered, unhedged options for that customer, and that was when the Swiss franc, the Swiss get-on happened, 2014, I believe it was. The Swiss franc, not overnight, over a few seconds, went so much stronger, and we had sold options, basically the right to the opponent, in this case to the bank, to exercise the option if they went into the money. And usually what we did is when the trade was out of profit, we closed the opposite side of the trade as well. In this case, for my boss, I closed two positions for a few $1,000. Was nothing much in this case for the boss, but he was like, hey, I have to pay you salary and you should have left this trade open. when this story happened with the Swiss franc, I reminded him. I said, "Boss, if we would have not closed that trade
Okay.
basically today or tomorrow, right? So
Yeah.
before that story happened, we would have lost a ton." And he was like, "Yeah, but nobody could have known beforehand, so don't worry about it." I said, "Okay." I saved him some millions just by closing for a few $1,000 that position, which was out of the
Okay.
money, but it would have been deeply in the shits
Worse.
right
Okay.
after the story happened. Yeah.
Yeah. And that sounds nice. Before we even continue, I mean, I keep saying before we continue because I'm enjoying the conversation and I'm also learning a lot from you. So you were a German, but you said you had the opportunity when working with a TV station. You had the opportunity to travel in to Singapore and the Asian, I mean, some of the Asian countries. Is that a reason why you added dot Asia to your company? So you have FX strategies dot Asia. Is that the reason why you added that to it, the Asia?
Asia is my home since 2006. I moved to Singapore in end of 2006 after the World Cup, which was in Germany. A great World
Oh,
Cup, similar to the one
yeah,
in the African area back in the days, I
yeah.
recall. So, and yes, no domain in the world would feature me better than .asia. My home is kind
Okay,
of Singapore. Currently, I'm more in Thailand, but right now we're talking to each other out of Singapore. So, yes, I traveled Southeast Asian countries. I love the people in Southeast Asia. I love the food. And since I've been around a lot, I take more the focus onto Asian currencies. Currently, the Japanese yen is
okay,
quite interesting, but
okay.
other Asian currencies like the Singapore dollar, for example, managed slightly differently. So they take my focus a lot, and that's why I like the Asian area. Yeah.
Wow, interesting. So now tell us, because I know about fxstrategies.asia. Tell us what fxstrategies.asia is and how can we benefit from it? Yes.
I don't also know what fxstrategies.asia is, but jokes aside, I've had some friends saying, Frank, why don't you have other people being able to learn from your knowledge? And that's what I exactly do, right? So we have our
Okay.
WhatsApp chat. You are one of the members, of the valuable
Yeah.
members in our group, is sharing new
Thank you.
knowledge for our customers. But basically, it's a website. It's a one-stop solution. If you want to do some fund management, we can talk about it. If you want to learn your skill sets, your skills in financial markets, and guys, for the ones of you listening here right now, reach out to us. We'll give you a little token of appreciation of a bit of a discount here when you sign up to our membership. I have three memberships. One is the real big deal where you get to know from me personally in daily calls, in WhatsApp calls, in any sort of expertise you need in order to fine tune your trading. We get you from a basic knowledgeable trader to a rock star in basically 2 months time. Well, not 2 months time directly in order to kind of master the markets, but well, that's the mentoring program we offer. And then we have regular programs, basically like the elite package, where you get personalized calls on a weekly basis. You get our daily morning calls, which are recorded, where you're more than happy to align and tune in, as well as asking you questions. And we have our WhatsApp group where we share trading ideas, where I share insights on how I trade financial markets, mostly FX, but currently now time for myself to load up on dividend stocks, since the markets have been nicely moving to the downside. So that's my solution I offer for anyone. Lots of webinars, background stories, and more interviews like these to come in the near future as well.
Yeah, so guys, I might also recommend that I'm fortunate to be part of the WhatsApp group and I know what is happening there. Frank ensures that he gives us weekly outlooks, daily market insights and all, and they have helped me as well. So you can find a way. I'll share the website address for you to now check the page out. Now, before we end the conversation, Frank, I saw your shirt. You have Naga written in there. Yes, that's Naga. What's Naga?
Part of my news story as well. The company called me up mid of last year. They said, Frank, we need somebody like you for the German market to educate our crew, our people, everyone trading with Naga. So Naga is a stock listed in Germany, stock listed brokerage company, and they offer social trading. So basically, what you can do while you still fine tune your own trading, you can say, okay, you put your funds or part of your account maybe into the hands of other people. So you can have other and that's working a bit like their platform, working like Facebook, nicely actually,
Oh,
where you can learn about others, how they trade, like myself, for example, and you could say, okay, I park my money there, and some of the trades I get copied by Frank's trading. So if I trade, your account trades alongside that trading account, which
okay.
the master or the main trader who's trading it gets replicated to your own trading portfolio. It's in particular
Okay.
interesting since you are, or when you are rather maybe new to trading and want to have a big of a learning curve. We offer social media information. We get market updates for you guys there for the audience, and quite a bit of webinars and background coaching stories for newbie or wannabe traders, as well as in particular the copy trading function, which works nicely at Naga. Yeah, so that's what I do.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Frank. Thank you very much for joining us today. We really enjoyed the conversation, and we will definitely come back to you for it to share more knowledge because there's less time on our side and on your side as well. Thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate your time.
Da Costa, appreciate. Long time no
All right.
see, and nice
Yes.
having you in the
Catching
conversation
up.
here. And chat soon.
All right. Sure. Bye.